We are going to be singing the national anthem. I'd like to get some protocols in terms of how we're going to go about it. May I kindly request that we remain on attention mode, okay, and remain standing until the singing of the national anthem. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Honorable Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Sitya Zigalala, Honorable MPs for the Department of Public Works Portfolio Committee, MEC for Public Works, Roads and Transport in Mpumalanga, Mr. Thulasizwe Thomo, MEC for Public Works and Roads in Northwest, Ms. Elizabeth Mukua, MEC for Public Works and Infrastructure in Free State, Ms. Dibulelo Mangwe, Agreement SA board members present here today, CEO of Agreement SA, Mr. Richard Somanje, DG in the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Sfiso Mtakane, senior government officials from National Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, other professional government, representative of public entities, provinces and municipalities, representative from other departments, representative of the professional bodies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Good morning. We are thrilled to have you join us at this auspicious occasion. A warm and hearty welcome to Agreement SA Stakeholder and Industry Engagement Forum 2025, the first of its own kind under the theme, Building Stronger Partnership for Sustainable Innovation. I would like to cite a quote by Henry Chesbrough, open quote, "Collaboration is the bedrock of innovation, and partnerships are the catalyst that accelerate the pace of progress," close quote. My name is Dr. Julia Petla. I'm going to be your captain for this special occasion. Relax. It's going to be an easy ride. Your captain has it all under control. Before I commence with the order of the day, let me just get some house rules. The ablution facilities are located outside of the auditorium on my right. May I kindly request that you put your devices on silent mode. However, I'd like you to feel free, take photos, and broadcast on your various social media platforms. And then in terms of the order of the day, we'll have a question and answer segment at the end of the segment, the first segment, second segment, and respectively as we progress. Whilst I'm still on the house rules, permit me to hand over to CSIR to take us through a moment of safety, as it is customary in our organization to embrace safety. Over to you, CSIR.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the CSI International Convention Centre. I'm VP Pretorius, SSHE Manager of the Centre. Before you proceed, I'm just going to give you a couple of health protocols as well as evacuation protocols of the Centre. Kindly make use of our hand sanitizer stations located within the venue as well as the communal areas as frequently as possible. Should you fall ill or require medical attention, kindly report to the reception area whereby a first aid facility as well as qualified paramedics will be made available to you. In the unlikely event of an emergency, an alarm will sound throughout the building. Trained responders will give instructions on evacuation. Stay calm. Take only belongings that you can carry. Walk in an orderly manner. Do not run. Responders will lead you to an emergency exit, then to the assembly point. Restrooms are available throughout the building. Please look out for signage. As this is a public building, please do not leave your valuables unattended. Free wireless internet access is available throughout the building. Please select 3CSR ICC on your device. No password is required. For assistance, please call on any of our staff members who will contact the technician to provide support. Then, in addition, the following vehicles. Opel, registration number KM81RL GP. Silver Cross Sport, your tyre is flat. Then the second vehicle, a Corolla Quest C, registration November, uniform Romeo 82462 GP. Your lights are on. Thank you.
Thank you, CSIR. I'm not sure if you are also able to assist colleagues whose tires are flat as part of your safety. So whilst I've introduced myself as the captain for today, Agreement SA also has its own captain. So allow me to introduce the captain of Agreement SA. It is none other than the acting chair, Dr. Bongani Mabizela. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Dr. Julia Petler, Honorable Deputy Minister, Mr. Sehle Zigalala, Baba Kuzeni, Honorable MEC for Roads and Public Works in the Northwest Province, Mayor Elizabeth Mukua, Honorable members of the Portfolio Committee for the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure present here, board members of Agrément South Africa, senior officials from the National Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, led by our DG, Mr. Mdagane, representatives of public entities present here, at provinces as well as municipalities, representatives from other departments, representatives of professional bodies present, our CEO of Agrément South Africa, Mr. Richard Somanji, Agrément South Africa executives, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to all of you. Dumelang, Abshen, Sanibonani, Molweni, Goeiemorgen. Thank you very much. Sounds better. But let me also acknowledge my predecessor, the former chairperson of Agrément South Africa, Professor Mahaji, for being present. On behalf of Agrément South Africa, I am delighted to extend a warm and enthusiastic welcome to all of you today. It is our honor and privilege to host you today at this annual Stakeholder and Industry Engagement Summit 2025. On behalf of Agrément South Africa, the Board of Directors and Management, I want to thank you for taking time to be with us today. We are committed to building stronger relationships and partnerships for sustainable innovation in South Africa's construction industry, in the built environment profession. We are thrilled to have you as participants in this exciting gathering of leaders, professionals, certificate holders, suppliers, and industry experts, where we aim to foster a collaborative and enriching environment for all attendees. This event promises to be an incredible platform for networking, knowledge sharing, and fostering meaningful connections to enhance the mandate of Agrément South Africa. Your continuing engagement and support for our organization is indeed highly appreciated. Deputy Minister and guests, we are committed to making Agrément South Africa to be the leading assurer of sustainable, non-standardized construction-related products and systems in the world. Once again, thank you for being part and being an integral part of this event today. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting Chair, for such a noble frontier, permit me to add one more house rule, just based on what you said: connect, network, and today is about sharing knowledge. Do it wittingly. I'd also like to urge us to get onto our social media platforms. Use your Facebook, now X, formerly known as Twitter. Just inundate them with the pictures so they can get a feel of what's happening today. On that note, I would like to call upon the CEO of Agreement SA, Mr. Richard Somanje, to give us background and purpose of today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Option. Goeiemorgen. Ninjani. Bovua. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome and to greet the Honorable DM, the Member of Parliament present, the board members, the MECs, the DG from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, protocol observe. Today we want to share with you a little bit of history of Agrément. And it's important that when we see Agrément being green, as it's written in green most of the time, we all think of life. When we cross the robots, the color is green. But I want us to start to remember that Agrément is not agricultural entity. It's not about agriculture. We know agriculture brings food, but Agrément brings sustainability, including food in it. So, what is Agrément? Agrément is actually a French word meaning conformance or approval. Why it's the conformance? It's important to note that whenever entrepreneurs think of having a business, they want to solve a problem. They are bringing a solution to the problem. And it is no surprise that the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, as is well known to date, they had a vision in terms of the problem that was to be solved, and that was in 1969. This came after a surge in construction and development that was happening post-World War II. Why World War II? After that period of World War, there was a need to really accommodate innovation. So innovation is not a word that is coming lately. It has been there since 1945. And at that time, the SABS was there to represent South Africa, and there was a process to develop standards so as the construction industry is uniform. But some had foresights. There was a need to accommodate innovations because at the time there were people that were displaced from World War, and there was a massive construction and redevelopment at the time. So innovation was the key. And to some, they were actually looking at steel and glasses. That was part of the innovation at the time. But how do we ensure that whatever product we use is safe? Then, after 24 years, the department saw a need to establish Agrément as an agency of the department. It's important to note an agency of the department. By that time, it was housed here at CSIR. And it continued to be an agency of the department for a period of close to 48 years. No organization in South Africa have ever been under incubation for 48 years. That's only Agrément. What happened since then? Agrément, there was an act that was enacted in 2015 to prepare the establishment of Agrément as a public entity in 2017. It started to operate in 2017 as a public entity so as to comply with the laws and the PFMA as it operates as a public entity. But then as it operates as a public entity, it moves away from being an agency to be a public entity. And after being established as a public entity, in this very same ground, next door where we saw the exhibitions, that's when Agrément celebrated its jubilee. It was on the 4th of October, on a Friday, 2019. That was 50 years since it was established. That was historical and remains in our hearts for those ones that have been there to say how it was. But during that time, it was still known as South Africa's best kept secret. No wonder why. It is South Africa's best kept secret because most of us, the 62 million out there, they don't know about Agrément. And it is in this forum like this, where we need to share and talk about Agrément So as when we go out there, we see Agrément in the billboard, if there is still one, then we know what Agrément is. And it's important that as an organization, we have a vision. And we aspire to be a leading assurer of sustainable, non-standardized construction-related products and systems in the world. That has been emphasized by our chair. It's also important to note that for us to achieve that vision, we need to have a mission in terms of how to go about. And our mission is to provide assurance through fitness for purpose of sustainable, non-standardized construction-related products and systems while promoting socio-economic development and aiding the policymaker in mitigating associated risks. This is very important because out there are lots of innovative products and systems that are put in place to solve the problem, but the issue of safety remains a concern. It's important that as Agrément, we need to be updated and be informed in terms of the projects that are happening out there. It's important for us to note what projects that are innovative so as to mitigate these risks. As we work as Agrément and our key stakeholders such as certificate holders and the licensees, which are the contractors that implement those products, it's important to observe that we've got values that we aspire and we want to live with those values. We promote teamwork within internally Agrément and outside as we engage, and accountability. We make sure that we remain accountable for what we do as we promote and make sure that it's safe to use this product that is being certified by Agrément. And we're also looking at trust, which we promote issues of integrity, reliability, and honesty. And also mutual respect. We respect among ourselves and also the certificate holder and key stakeholders among yourself here, and that's what we promote. And also we are client-centered. We always take our clients at heart and we do whatever it takes to make sure that the clients are serviced and we remain transparent. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we do have a mandate as Agrément. And one of the pillars of this mandate is to promote assurance to the innovators and the users of these innovative products and systems. It is no surprise that we will need an event like this, and to continue emphasizing that how we do our work, we need people like yourselves. As specifiers, the national department, it's important that if you see the certificate holders that have been displaying their products out there, they need to be supported in terms of business. How do we support them? They will come to Agrément and say, yes, we certified you certified our product, but how do you support us? And we're saying to them, we have working with the departments that are specifiers and some public entities. And we'll need to partner with these departments to assist them in terms of bid specifications so as they can specify that they want innovative products, some of them that we have seen, which today they will be given some certificates. And this is not only the national department, but also provincial department. It's important that if we are to see developments we need to promote this imaging. But we also note that there is a benefit in using these innovative products. So it's important. The users could be me and you, and the beneficiary of this certified product, as the beneficiary of these certified products. And we do this assurance through the assessments that we run, we do the tests, and also we certify. And when we go to those retail shops, we will see some of the products are marked Agrément. It's to confirm that that has been tested and it's fit for the purpose. It's important that we observe that. And why Agrément? It's because it's innovative. It doesn't follow the national standards. And that's why it's so. And there will be benefits to use such. And we also mandated in terms of our act to support and promote the process of integrated socio-economic as it relates to construction industry. And this, it will be an improvement in terms of the social and material well-being of individual and institution to achieve the highest possible levels. How do we do this? Is to establish platforms such as entrepreneurial development. We promote licensees whereby the certificate holder can make arrangements with the contractors who's going to contract, build such a product or systems so as to expand and promoting entrepreneurship. That will also count to employment, but also, most importantly, the reduction of cost and time to build some of the infrastructure that we are promoting. We also we support and promote the introduction of use of certified non-standard construction-related products and systems. This is necessitated by introducing new products in the systems. And we go all out to ensure that there is always an innovations, whatever we certify. We don't certify the products that probably already there is an existing standards. We do some research to establish that indeed there is innovations in what is being presented to us to approve. And the certification process, it shouldn't be seen to be prohibitive, but there is a lot of work and research that needs to happen. And at the end, we are saying that it's safe to use such a product. And we support the policymaker in minimizing the risk. How do we do that? Who are the policymakers? It's the departments of human settlement, water and sanitation, public works and infrastructure, at some public government entities such as NHBRC, HDA, IDT, CIDB, as well as SHRA. This is through the partnership that we are forging to make. Some of them we have already signed the MOU, and we believe that after this event, we'll continue to sign the MOUs with other like-minded entities so as we can promote innovations across the board. And the issue of participating on a bid specification committees, as well as the industrial advisory committee in some of the entities that we participate in promoting the innovative products and systems. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, for the purpose which we are all here for today, and in conclusion, this forum serves as both the virtual and physical meeting places where individuals and key stakeholders with shared interests or goals come together to exchange their ideas, seek advice, and build connections under the theme, Building Stronger Partnership for Sustainable Innovation. I thank you.
Thank you. Can we give Mr. Somanje another round of applause? Thank you for that background information. I think for me, the pivotal role that Agreement SA plays in supporting policymakers to minimize the risk associated with the use of non-standardized construction-related products or systems, it's quite pivotal, and we can never shy away from that. And the role that Agreement SA plays in terms of collaborating with other industry stakeholders. Earlier on, the CEO alluded to the fact that Agreement SA is a best-kept secret, and it's an organization that has been existent for over 50 years. How do you keep such an entity for so long in secret? And I think as the board and industry players, our role is to make sure that we get the word out there and get Agreement SA known. You know, I think by the time we leave and we end this forum, rather, would have a role to play. All of us as the board, the CEO, and the Department of Public Works has a role to play to make sure that Agreement SA is known out there. On a lighter note, I just got a bit worried that the CEO is much older because he's been here serving long. But that's on a lighter note. Okay, moving right along, I told you we're going to be moving swiftly to try and catch up with time. I'd like to call upon the Honourable Member of the Portfolio Committee to introduce our keynote speaker for the day. If I could call upon Mr. Sipho Mahlangu to please introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. And let me take this opportunity and greet everyone present here. I realize that if I greet as per the hierarchy, I might omit others. So greetings to everyone present here. I have been requested to do a simple task, a task of introducing our keynote addresser or speaker. But however, let's first acknowledge and appreciate the opportunity or the platform created by Agrément SA for stakeholders to sit and exchange ideas. We believe that this is an important gathering, and such gatherings ought to continuously happen for the betterment of our society. I am here, Chair, as I've explained, to introduce the current Deputy Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, the former Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, who is the former Premier of KZN, who also was the MEC of COGTA. He started his activism at a very young age until he was elected the Secretary General of the African ANC Youth League. And further, he was the provincial chair of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, the secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, and the Deputy Secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. Currently is the National Executive Committee member of the ANC. It was under his leadership and the legislature collective that the province of KwaZulu-Natal pioneered groundbreaking transformation programs under Operations Vula, which included radical agrarian socio-economic transformation, as well as bulk buying and warehousing program. He has carved out a solid reputation for himself as a proponent of Black Industrialist Program, a national government initiative which seeks to heighten the pace of the empowerment of black-owned enterprises. Honorable Zikalala contributed immensely to the attainment of peace in KwaZulu-Natal in the early 90s. He remains seized with the task of deepening peace, advancing democracy, and achieving social and economic prosperity for the people of South Africa. At the heart of his efforts lies a passion to see the South African economy transformed, growing and being competitive to reduce inequality, poverty, and unemployment. Honorable Zikalala is a champion of gender equality, youth empowerment, and an advocate of equality in education. He strongly believes in education and regards it as an indispensable weapon in the arsenal to advance equality and improve people's lives. The Deputy Minister holds a degree in Communication Science from the University of South Africa, the Honours Degree in Public Administration from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and the Master's Degree in Leadership Studies from UKZN. Let us welcome the Deputy Minister.
Thanks. Let us be seated. Thank you, Honorable Mahlangu. May I take this opportunity to extend my greetings to all of you who are here today, especially the chairperson of the board, Dr. Mabizela, the board in entirety, members of Portfolio Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure, and I think this engagement is highly blessed with such a diverse participation of Portfolio Committee members. Among us, we have Honorable Mahlangu, who has been here. We have Ms. Sharon Letlape. We have Mr. Siabonga Gama. We have Mr. Edwin Bath. And we are grateful to have you as an organ that represents Parliament of South Africa. We extend our warm greetings to MEC of Public Works and Roads in Northwest, Honorable Elizabeth Mokua. Greetings also to the officials of the Department of Public Works, led by the DG, Mr. Sfiso Mtagane, the CEOs, starting with the CEO of Agrément SA, who have spoken with us today, but also the CEO of CBE, Dr. Mieza, the CEO of CIDB, Mr. Dladla, the Registrar for SACP, CMP, Mr. Matutle. Now, if you start to call SACP, CMP, now people used to ask whether, is this an organ of the South African Communist Party? And you say, no, it belongs to the department. I wish to greet all of you who are scientists and specialists in the built environment. Even before starting making my remarks, I think the critical issue that faces us today is how to learn and unlearn, and therefore embrace innovation and development. On behalf of the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, we wish to pay great gratitude to the public and private sector, as well as civil society organizations attending this Agrément South Africa workshop. I also wish to take this opportunity to extend the apology on behalf of the Minister, Minister McPherson, who would have loved to be here but is not here as he is engaged in other commitment of the department outside the country. The theme, building strong partnerships for sustainable innovation, is opportune and important as we are called upon to play our part to protect the environment by adopting sustainable building practices and solutions. The devastating impact of climate change continues to be felt here at home and abroad across the world, reminding all of us of the need to build climate-resilient communities and ensuring that our construction methods contribute in saving lives while at the same time preserve environment. Reports of loss of life and infrastructure damage resulting from the recent rainfall in our country and devastation in the aftermath of the California fires in the US place a huge responsibility to all actors and partners in the built environment to build with disaster in mind and consciousness to save lives. Today's event takes place here at the CSIR, a pride in our nation's history and trajectory in research, development, and innovation since 1945, marking it 8 years since it was established. We take note of the work that they've done so far, but on the other hand, Agrément South Africa began effecting its mandate on supporting innovation, non-standardized construction products and systems under our department as early as 1969. The passing of Agrément SA Act by the Democratic government in 2015 was informed by the need to support nature-based construction system, green infrastructure, and environmentally friendly material in a more cost-effective way than conventional solutions. Hence, I said, we need to learn, unlearn, and learn again. We need to learn because we have conventional methods that we grew up and embraced. It's not easy to change. All of a sudden, you embrace new things. But the conditions facing us impose that we need to unlearn and learn new methods that are produced in various studies, innovations, and therefore we have a lot to do. In this regard, Agrément South Africa support policymakers to minimize the risk associated with using non-standardized construction-related products or systems. The construction industry is a significant driver for socio-economic development and job creation in our country. It is only through partnerships between government and private sector that we can indeed turn the country into a construction site, and that construction and infrastructure development become a flywheel of the South Africa's economy. As the department, we recognize that the construction industry remains a pivotal node where traditional practices meet cutting-edge innovation. This call on the built environment to embrace change and transition, to innovate building systems and products that promote sustainable and efficiency. Maybe let me just be specific on this. I think having gone through this exhibition, I asked myself, what next? Are we going to end up, after this session, going back to our department and it become business as usual? I believe we are called, through you, DG, that some of the issues and solutions that we saw there are discussed in our EXCO. But I believe it is upon you, members of Portfolio Committee, to allow the department to pilot some of these solutions. We have seen a lot here, but there is a lot happening in the country. We were once called by UNISA, and the department went there. They presented a solution that is used now in our other countries in South Africa, but that solution has not been used by government in South Africa. Today, we have been presented by solutions that will reduce cost and ensure that there is benefit to communities. And some of those solutions are used in other countries, but not at home. And I think we need a deeper discussion around that issue. And I'm hopeful that the next EXCO in the Department of Public Works will discuss how to put in place and ensure that these innovative solutions are embraced and implemented. In our quest for a resilient and adaptable economy, we must explore and invest in innovative building systems such as modular construction, prefabrications, containers, and others. These systems shorten construction time, reduce waste and carbon emission, ultimately lowering cost and helping address the government's challenges with significant delay in local construction when we use normal methods. And therefore, they are shorter. Introducing sustainable product ranging from eco-friendly material to energy-efficient system can drastically change how we approach building in South Africa. As the department and all entities, we envision a future where our buildings serve as pillar for sustainability. We can produce functional structures that respect our environment by using, for an example, recycled materials, renewable resources, and smart technologies. Partnership between government, private sector, academia, and civil society are crucial in fostering innovation in construction. We can initiate projects that integrate innovation buildings into our public infrastructure by collaborating with the industry. South African government is committed to creating a conducive environment for sustainable investment. The methods that we are exploring include incentivizing companies that prioritize sustainable practices and innovation in construction. This aligns with our vision for a just and equitable society, and ensuring that every citizen benefits from our advancement in the built environment. There is always anxiety that if we transit, moving from one system to the other, then what will happen about those who have been in that traditional or conventional system? But we have learned here that it is equally possible to ensure that when we transit, people who are there are trained to move with solutions that are being introduced. We therefore say, let us embrace this and these innovative solutions in a way that does not create unemployment for those who are employed in the industry, but in a way that reskill and ensure effectiveness. We have numerous certificate holders who are currently in business coming from Agrément SA, and we are pleased to welcome new certificate holders entering the market. Some of these new holders will receive their certificate during this event, and some will join us to showcase their innovation in construction product. We must partner together to implement these systems successfully, but also exploring ways to assist small, medium, and macro enterprises is imperative in our collective effort. We must stimulate economic growth and revitalize the construction sector. But that does not mean we must only embrace innovation coming with big companies and neglect small companies. We must ensure that we integrate and support SMMEs. We wish to propose that we concentrate our effort on various strategic areas such as the following. The first is skills development and training. Adopting innovative building system requires a workforce with the right skills. We must therefore prioritize training initiatives that upskill the current workforce and attract young talent into the construction sector. Secondly, we must work on research and development. Research and development should help us to explore new buildings material, product, and systems. Construction between or collaboration between universities, research institutions, and the industry is therefore essential for innovation. Thirdly, we must ensure regulatory framework, a supportive regulatory framework that facilitates the deployment of innovative building technologies. We must ensure that our policies are adaptable, encouraging experimental effort while maintaining safety and quality standards. Fourthly, we must ensure community engagement. The people for whom we build must always come first. Engaging communities in project planning and the implementation stages is essential. And I'm sure the unit that deals with facilitation in the Department of Public Works should take a lead, because social facilitation must ensure that communities are integrated and embrace the projects that are coming in their areas. Thus will create a greater acceptance and ownership of initiatives that we're bringing. There must be a stronger public-private partnerships, which must help us to work in an integrated way. We must leverage the expert and resources of private entities to achieve our goals, sharing skills and rewards alike. At some point in the department and in government, I've argued whether the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, in particular the property management and trading entity, does not need its own PPP unit, instead of depending to Treasury, which then take years to have project finalized. We're in a country where it takes more than 3 years for one project to be registered under PPP. And for us, with such a huge backlog, lack of financial muscle on the side of government, financial capacity on the side of the private sector with skills and expertise, shouldn't we say department that lead on project, big project, should establish units that lead on ensuring that PPPs are formulated, finalized on time, and implemented. I'm fully aware of fears of PPPs. I know that once you enter into a PPP, you apportion there some risk to the private sector. But equally, the private sector benefit, and at some point they would want to prolong their stay to get more money, even at a time when they are required to exit. And the question of how to balance the two is very important. And therefore, we must look on PPPs we've implemented in the country and try to ensure that we address the two so that we are aligned. Yes, the private sector stands to benefit, but also when taking government from government, taking risk from government, they should benefit, but at some point, those properties or those solutions must also help government. It must not be the one way. It must be a combination. And therefore, we need also, as the department, I believe, a stronger engagement on how to ensure that the PPP approach is utilized effectively. We appreciate your presence here. We need more collaboration, whether you are a contractor, architects, engineers, town planners, material supply, or community leaders. We must work together to reimagine what is possible in our built environment. By embracing innovative building systems and promoting sustainable practices, we can improve our infrastructure and create resilient and thriving economy. We believe that the work done by ASA should be complemented by CIDP so that we work and ensure that our programs are implemented faster. The expertise and programs like building information modeling must be prioritized. As we digitize, we must leave no one behind. We need to change the fact that Agrément SA is referred to as a sleeping giant. It is a giant indeed, but it should not be a sleeping one. It should partner with all sectors of the communities. It should partner with our entities. We are also not constrained to work with the Department of Public Works alone. You are allowed to share your experience with other departments as well. We also call on all our municipalities to utilize the construction solutions coming from AXA and its partners. I believe there should be a stronger collaboration with MISA in this regard. MISA and SALCA should be engaged to embrace the work that Agrément SA is doing. Collectively, we carry a responsibility to embrace and promote sustainable building solutions and to fight ignorance and stereotypes about building materials that are developed and approved by Agrément SA. We look forward to working alongside with each of you as we forge a sustainable future for South Africa's infrastructure. Such future should be a future of all of us, black and white, and a thriving society. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable DM, for such a profound directive, propelling us to do more, to be solution-driven. To embrace innovation and move away from traditional methods that we're currently working on. And I think what is profound, DM, is that you mentioned that we need to relearn, unlearn to relearn. Thank you so much. There's a lot to be learned. There are 5 key drivers that you spoke about that requires our urgent attention. You spoke about skills development and training. We will endeavor to attract young talent to make sure that the built environment is transformed. We'll also look at investing heavily in research and development because that's quite critical. You spoke about regulatory frameworks and policies that must be adaptable. I think CIDB was listening attentively there. We need to prioritize community engagement. It's quite critical. We can't build in communities where we've not engaged the stakeholders. It can't be. We really need to prioritize on them and not impose these things in their environments. Finally, we emphasize the importance of public-private partnership. That should be a new norm. And I think in the room here today, we're talking about collaboration, and I think it's important that even the MOAs and MOUs that we currently have with the institutional organizations that we have, we need to expand those to make sure that we have a wider reach. Indeed, Honorable Deputy Minister, we heed the call. We shall be responsive, we'll be agile and action-orientated in terms of driving this change, in addressing these critical issues that you've highlighted. Once more, I'd like to thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister. At this juncture, may I kindly request the Agreement SA board members to ascend to the stage for a photo shoot with the Minister, Deputy Minister, joined by the MECs present and the CEO of Agreement SA. Thank you. And the Portfolio Committee. Agreement SA board members, Portfolio Committee. Thank you, colleagues. The Deputy Minister will still be around in case you want to take a photo graph with him during tea time. Okay, moving right along, we are now going to play a corporate video by Agreement SA. Thank you.
Green, often associated with nature and sustainability, has become a symbol of environmentally friendly construction practices. Agrément, South Africa. Green, often associated with nature and sustainability, has become a symbol of environmentally friendly construction practices. From green building materials to energy-efficient design, green has revolutionized how we construct our buildings. Green is not just a color, it's a symbol of hope and renewal. It signifies new beginnings and growth potential. Just as a seed sprouts and grows into a magnificent tree, green reminds us of the endless possibilities. The color green represents a shift towards a cleaner and more sustainable future. Agrément South Africa is green. At Agrément South Africa, we provide professional services in the construction industry. Our mission is to introduce and promote the safety and quality of construction projects, ultimately benefiting the industry and the public. With over 50 years of experience, we have established ourselves as a trusted authority in the construction industry. Our team of experts consists of engineers, architects, and industry professionals passionate about upholding the highest standards in construction. At Agrément South Africa, we offer various services to support the construction industry. Our certification process involves rigorous testing and evaluation to ensure that buildings and materials meet the necessary standards and regulations. Our range of approved innovative products and building systems includes, but is not limited to, walling and building systems, road products, sanitation systems, plumbing systems, energy performance assessment software, weigh-in-motion traffic monitoring systems, access control doors, bridge deck joints, ceiling systems, concrete additives, damp proofing and waterproofing, under-tile roofing insulation, sanitation products, roofing products, thin bituminous surfacing systems, and wall coatings. This certification provides peace of mind to contractors, developers, and the public, knowing that the construction projects are safe and reliable. Furthermore, we conduct research and development to stay at the forefront of industry advancements. By staying up to date with the latest technologies and practices, we can continuously improve our services and contribute to the growth and innovation of the construction industry. Agrément South Africa recognizes the urgent need to address environmental concerns in the construction sector. The Eco-ASA label is an environmental label that signifies a product's adherence to sustainable practices throughout its life cycle. It is a certification that assures consumers that the product has been produced environmentally, helps consumers make informed decisions, and encourages using alternative sustainable building materials. Let's build a better Agrément South Africa. Innovative construction product assessments.
Thank you very much. If you don't remember anything, just remember green. The CEO said is not agriculture, it's sustainability, eco-friendly, along those lines. But the video was just to show you some of the products that we certify at Agrément SA. Thank you. Now, moving right along, our next speaker is going to be talking to us about funding opportunities for innovators. How can small and medium enterprises be supported? I think that's quite crucial. The Honorable Deputy Minister also spoke about the importance of ensuring that SMMEs are supported. To take us through that, let's welcome Mr. Dumisani Mkonza. He's the COO of ABSA Enterprise and Supply Chain Development. He is responsible for effective functioning of what he calls the engine room of non-traditional finances. He has played various roles in ABSA for the past 18 years. So you have somebody who's got 18 years worth of experience, is passionate about leveraging banks and corporates ecosystem as a catalyst to build inclusive economies. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So here's my captain. I just want to say that I won't be able to greet in all 11 languages because I'm only been given 15 minutes. So I'll be running very quickly through the slides, if we can pull them up.
Maybe you can do 2 languages whilst you are getting that right. Technical, could you kindly assist? But that allows you to start the salutation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to speak around innovation and finance. So just in your presence and having listened to the speeches thus far, I'm in awe on what Agrément SA does. And, as ABSA, we have really sat down to investigate the different solutions in finance. As you would know, us as banks, we are seen in playing a transformative role in our economy. And of course, we know that business as usual, as the Deputy Minister has alluded to, can be an enemy of innovation. So we started looking at this differently. Already going back to 2009, we started looking at various ways how we can support startup and small businesses and innovators in general to provide them with sustainable finance solutions for the long term. So we're quite excited with the topic today. And thank you for the invitation. I feel quite privileged to be speaking to you today. So I think we might still be battling with the slides. I've got a couple of slides. Okay, so we might battle with the slides, but I'm happy actually just to talk through the points. As I said, I won't take too much of your time, but I will be available for questions. And my captain, I'm not sure if you'll be taking questions whilst during the session or a bit later, but I'll be available to respond to any questions. So essentially, we know the challenges that SMEs face, and there's it's multifaceted challenges, particularly in South Africa, given our past. We have a lot of people that have innovative ideas, and when it comes to financing, it's dololo. So what we've developed is a developmental standard, credit standard as ABSA, and it basically incorporates our partnership with development finance institutions as well as our corporate clients. We took advantage of the BBBE scorecard that back in 2013, 2015, corporates were allowed to lend money to small businesses, And we went to our corporate clients and we said, look, you don't have the capability to do it. You probably can't do it at scale, and you don't have the experience to track non-performing loans and how you can remediate loans. So we put together a process and system and put together a team that will be able to address that need. So one of the big challenges in this space, especially for startups, is ability to be able to secure your market as early as possible, because that can determine the type of financing that you will need. So if I think about, when you start a business, firstly, you have to have passion for it, the skills for it, to do it. Also, the resilience that you will build, because it's going to be, trial and error all the time. And whenever you're given the opportunity to build that skill, you then need to find your potential customers. And to the extent that those customers can be corporates, then we believe that there is already a form of risk mitigation to us as financiers. So, with my colleague Brian, we were just talking about an example. As we were seeing the video here, we have a small business. They're not part of the exhibition today in the Northwest. So they're actually a brick manufacturer. They take waste from Anglo-Plats and they were able to produce bricks. And one of their challenges is access to market. So, they come to us, and because we have relationships with these corporate clients, we then introduce them to the wholesalers, retailers, in order to have to secure a bit of offtake, because that is what gives rise to the funding, at least from a credit perspective or the lending perspective. But we know that SMEs, even prior to that, will still need money to test their idea, and usually a loan is not the preferred option at that point in time. So we need to look to, could we secure a grant? If it's not a grant, could we secure a form of equity funding from venture capital, for example? So we then monitor that from a bank perspective. Again, we've got access to some of the leading venture capital entities. Our team is also subscribed to the South African Venture Capital Association. So we're looking to see how we can participate and assist them. I see my slides are back on, so I'll go through them just now. So I've already touched, I think, on the challenges that we have with and the constraints that we have as SMEs when we're trying to access the finance. And of course, when you're not funded or you don't get the funding, the sufficient funding that you need, you will then struggle to have the societal impact, whether for your own wealth creation or creation of jobs. So, okay, I've also just touched on our non-traditional lending approach, in that it is focused on financial inclusion, and it is based on the SME's ability to generate cash flows in the future. We do this with collaboration with the DFIs and the corporates and other agencies as well. And again, here it's important to prioritize collaboration over competition. And there's generally more of those opportunities than there is of competition. But we also have to respect competition and understand that it's good for the ultimate customer. So there are some guardrails that we put in place to make sure that the ultimate borrower and the end user and the customer get the best value from these arrangements. So I've mentioned about risk mitigation. So we've got the corporate at the center, So in an example of that bricks manufacturer, an off-taker like a Massmart or Build It could come into the picture, and we'll have an agreement with them, an arrangement with them, whether it's an MOA or an agency agreement or a guarantee agreement, to assist us as ABSA to be able to finance the SME based on their business case that they will provide. And also, as I've said, we already have leveraged the BE scorecards or legislation to be able for us to do this. And underpinning all of this is the business development support that we provide to our SMEs. Again, addressing the issues of market access. So we have a lot of platforms, public platforms, and also just informal introductions to our corporate clients when they've got a product that is of quality, that is reliable, that can be delivered timely, but they are looking for that a big customer. Okay, and then when it comes to grants, we all know that's not necessarily a sustainable solution, especially because there isn't an open check. I always say money can elude all of us, so you always have to be careful with grants, how you use them. We like the lending-backed or lending-based grants where we combine that with the loan. And those grants could come from outside, could come from the corporates or the DFI. And also the loan could be from those three parties, for example. So it's a blended finance solution, and it requires all of these parties to come into place. So we break it down into these three pillars, and we call it ABCs of non-traditional lending, because we have been trying to simplify the financing space. It can get complex, but it's very important for us to simplify it. We're dealing with very simple businessmen that don't create complex structures to get to market. So they need very simplified solutions. So on alternative lending, all that we're doing there is the partnerships with our development finance institutions. The one that is popular that probably most of you might know about is our arrangement with SEFDA on the Kula guarantee. But we also partner with international development finance institutions like your AFDB, for example, that will come into this place just to help us mitigate some of the risks, some of the financial risks that we face as a lender. And then bank lending, all that we do there is an arrangement that we would have with a corporate client where they give us some sort of guarantee on procuring from the business that we are financing. So in terms of volume and price, and also from a technical and operational perspective, that corporate clients might be closer to understand what will make their business to succeed. So if it's not them from in-house, they could have technical mentors on the outside that they partner with. And then lastly, corporate lending is where, so it's an off-balance sheet solution for us as a bank, and then so we lend directly from the corporates, and the corporates obviously also has other obligations around the enterprise supply development scorecards, skills development, and sometimes even socio-economic development. We are able to see how we can assist using those funds in a very effective way that has a sustainable impact. So underpinning all of these three is you can see the active participation of SMEs within that chain. We see that as quite important. And sometimes not just as a supplier to the corporate, but they could also be a distributor of products for that corporate. What's also interesting in this space is sometimes, if you have a narrow view, you might believe that this SME is your future competitor, but they are actually likely to be your partner in the future, and you can actually grow with them. So just very briefly, how we do the assessment in the case of innovators and also SMEs is our bias is towards the future. So that's how we believe we empower Africa's tomorrow. It's really understanding, the cash flow generating ability of this SME, and that is based on this offtake, or at least understanding how they're securing the market from a sales point of view. So once we understand who the customers, how do they pay, and we understand the use of funds, which we will control, and we can see profitability and we can see affordability, then the fact that you might be a startup or the fact that you might have a poor credit record won't prevent us from giving you finance. But we still need to understand your present situation. So that's why it is important to always keep a clean credit profile if you can, or have arrangements with your creditors when you can't, because we want to fund sustainable businesses that are cooperative. You don't dodging your creditors and then still expect to be financed. So it's important for us to understand your present situation. What do you have in place? What are you lacking, and how we can assist? I've already spoken about skills, and the reason that you start a business will speak to what your profile is at that point in time and what you've been exposed to. We do need to assess the experience, and we need to establish if there is any track record, or at least understand your capability and ability to deliver. So this is our business development support framework. Again, we don't go in alone here. We go in with a lot of partners. Some of you might be in this game of supporting, whether it's from a financial management, whether it's HR, marketing. SMEs need a lot of help. We know you can't be wearing all the hats as a business owner, so you need this type of help. So what we do is we do an analysis and identify what those gaps are, and then we'll introduce our business development support partner, and we have actually a funding model on the back of that as well, where you as an SME can also play a role from a funding point of view. But likelihood is that we will pay for that cost, or the corporate will pay, or the DFI will pay for the cost, and then we have to document those development points, and because that's what we want to measure post the loan being advanced. And there will be triggers both, before you get the loan and during the life of the loan. Because the real success in this space of financing is, how many businesses can we take from startup into corporates of the future? So we have to walk the journey with the SMEs. Then just quick takeaways. This is addressed to the businesses that are here, and I'm sure we all have opportunity to speak to the exhibitors today. But for me, and as I've been in this game for quite a while, I consistently see that the story really matters, especially if it's going to be backed up by the numbers. So, there's ways that we do check that, but we challenge entrepreneurs to really understand the reasons that they are entering into a venture, because that's what counts, in those tough times. That passion and the reason of starting the business. You're gonna need that resilience and that energy in really tough times. So the other message we like to lend is the fact that it's not only banks that provide finance. There are other stakeholders that do that. So our development finance institutions, as well as corporates, might actually be your source of funding, cheaper funding. We are always debating who's got the most friendly capital in the marketplace. That's debatable. Grants, as I said, they very hard to come by and not always easy to access. And, people always say, well, I can just go to my family and friends, and there'll be argument against that as well, to say, I come from poor backgrounds. My uncle doesn't live in Sandton or Stellenbosch, as it's always said. So, equity contribution remains a challenge, and we currently looking at various models around the equity providers, especially in the venture capital space. And then just, whether you're in business or not in business or thinking about starting a business, we do think that ultimately at the end of the day, the trustworthiness that you have, the integrity that you have, your character, it's what's going to stand the test of time. And generally that does equate to creditworthiness. And in closing, as ABSA, we are here. We are supporting the small businesses. We're supporting the growth of the small businesses. Their story matters to us, and we've developed a non-traditional approach to lending. And hopefully in a year's time, my captain will come back here and confirm how many of the entities that have exhibited and have been certified by yourself we've been able to finance. Thank you very much.
Are you taking a question, Musani?
Is it a burning question? We're going to defer the questions for after the break, after the tea break.
Wouldn't be burning after the tea break, but yeah.
Hence, I'm asking if it's a burning question. Okay, all right. Then in that case, you may go ahead.
It relates specifically to what the Honourable Deputy Minister also alluded to, and that is embracing innovation and technology in construction. Dumisani, I'm not sure if you know this, but the pioneer in innovative housing finance was ABSA. He had a brilliant team. Dr. Harold Drive, Joe Kondos, Meryl Benjamin did a fantastic project in Mbakweni in Western Cape. And again, I allude to what the Honourable Deputy Minister mentioned about educating people who are recipients of the technology. ABSA did something brilliant. They bussed in over 200 people from the Western Cape and asked them for the and that is so important from an ESG perspective. I think a previous speaker also mentioned you have to design for the communities in which you want to work. ABSA achieved an acceptance rate of over 86%, meaning that people are willing to embrace technology. They're willing to live in a house that's not made of brick and mortar. But it comes down to education. That's the one point I want to make. The second point is, you made a very interesting point. It's all traditional funding and finance model that you put up. You're no different from many of the other banks. What I find difficult with most banks, and maybe it's something you can take back to your team, there's too much of a silo operation. Your bond originators, the financing team, the development team, the valuation team, everybody's working in a silo. And when you get to developers like us, there's only that many battles you can fight in one day. And the fact that South Africa still does not have a single black developer of scale in the affordable housing market might be something that the bank wants to consider from an ESG perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. I agree with all your points, and I'm happy during tea break that we can chat about this further. But yeah, what I just find generally with banks, and us not excluded, is we are big machines, 35,000 strong, people working for various departments and various products. But I think part of our success is based on that internal collaboration, because it is an ecosystem and a value chain. And we want to finance more. That's the business that we're in. And just finding those ways of mitigating risk and finding the right businesses to support, that's what we stand for. But yeah, I take the point on the silo side, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. On that note, I'd like to ask if we have questions, not only for Mr. Mkonza, but for the panel, if we can take 2 or 3 questions before we break for tea. I'm not so sure how we're going to deal with our colleagues that have joined us virtually in terms of questions. Okay. That's fine. I will take you after that gentleman over there. And then you follow. Can we assist with the roving marks? Oh, and the gentleman with the white shirt.
Good morning and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sibusiso. I'm a contractor.
I'm sorry to interject. If you could just state who your question is directed to.
My question is directed to the Deputy Minister, and I think in part to perhaps the other colleagues that deal with the infrastructure and SMME development in general. Deputy Minister, I'm encouraged that you spoke in particular of sustainable innovation in the construction sector. And I think as other departments are here, you know, on the ground with us as Baki contractors, as you know, we are struggling to really have sustainable projects in the sector. We depend on being subcontracted most of the time. Now, when you are a subcontractor, you are supposed to grow. But government has entities that make it difficult for subcontractors to grow. And I'll quote one example, and I'm glad the CEO is here, of CIDB. When you are a subcontractor, after you are subcontracted, you are supposed to go to an institution like the CIDB to be graded so that you can grow. You cannot be a subcontractor forever. Now, the CIDB itself, that institution, it has some hurdles, let me put it like that. Institutional hurdles, which are not of their own doing, but of how that structure is set up. You go also to the NHBRC, which I'm glad they are also here. There are also hurdles which are not of their own doing, but they are institutional. Now, if you check, most subcontractors or Baki contractors, as I would like to put it, are unable to grow, which further link to what my gentleman from APSA has alluded to, lack of financing, etc., etc. So it's a round circle, this thing. We need, as part of sustainable solutions, Deputy Minister, to bring all these groups together, bring the CIDB, bring the NHBRC to say, let's look at the hurdles that we need to unblock so that Baki contractors can grow. I think that is the number one step. Otherwise, we will sing this song over and over and over again. And we will watch the projects being done by big business, big contractors all the time. And every funding that will come will go to big contractors. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. My question is directed to Richard. The eco-labeling aspect of the green building aspect of Agrément is long outstanding. We are now competing in an environment where the considerations of what is called green out there is being washed. The term greenwashing is relevant for a reason. And I was fortunate enough to attend a conference last year at UCT where I addressed the specifications on green building and what is sustainability and how greenwashing is taking over the industry. It's a very prevalent term. There was a recent study done at UJ where out of 1,509 projects that received EDGE certification or Green Star certification, over 80% of which was found to be actual greenwashing. We need to look at that scenario, Richard, and make eco-labeling an absolute priority now. The embodied energy constraints and the considerations and the calculations need to be made out into the public. If we keep wanting, we talk about sustainability, and again, the Honorable Deputy Minister mentioned it several times, and we talk about global warming. If we want to address the issues of global warming and sustainability, we have to do it with actual calculations on what is green and what isn't. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Teboho. I'm a construction technologist, and points events on the other side. I must really appreciate the minister when he expresses the issue of this co-creation of technology. We have to co-create and coexist, because if you go to rural areas where this type of mechanized technology is far-fetched, people can still build their houses with stone through indigenous knowledge that they've always built, and they still do. So if we could have a particular curriculum, not necessarily a curriculum, you don't need a BSc, you don't need a BTech or whatever qualification. People have built things without any university before. When I did sub A in 1977, there were people in villages who were building schools there. Of course, we had to come to conformities that conforms to certain principles of formalities. But in rural villages, we are able to deliver houses just through picking up stones and building them. Crawls, houses, septic tanks, and so on, without even importing any other material, but on the localities. But unfortunately, we are unable to resuscitate through the department a possibility of a small funding. And if you could quantify a 40 square meter house at 196,000 allocation, you could do it at half that price of local people, picking up stones and just building it there. Yes, of course, door frames are manufactured and so on, but we need to begin to have a system that allows that for rural development and EPWP to really not be suffocated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Before the Deputy Minister responds, we'll allow a question from Simpiwe, who's joining us virtually. After Simpiwe, Before Simpiwe, we'll take a question from you, and then Simpiwe, then the Deputy Minister will respond. Thank you.
I'm a civil engineering professional. I think for starters is to appreciate this platform. There was a platform where I see Mr. Duplessis over there, CEO Somanji, CEO Mieza of a sister entity, CEO Dada is gone, and the CEO Malaka were there. I stated that we need something like this. So when I see it happening, I appreciate Poche Mabizela. So going forward, I humbly request, I beg as the Nigerians say, can we then engage at different platforms where you now go to your SACAP, have discussion, go to your EXA, go to your BBC for built environment. Please engage us, because there's still a lot of people who know nothing about Agrément South Africa. For example, I spoke to somebody recently to say, You know that through Agrément South Africa, you can get a brick for 150, yet a brick that you can buy maybe of similar strength at Core Brick for 500, 550. She looks surprised. So a huge marketing drive is required. Let's engage tertiary institutions with a lot of construction programs they do. Let's engage at different level. Let it not be a talk shop. The Deputy Minister spoke of your MISA municipalities. I hope you'll partner with your local economic development of municipalities. So really, this is what the industry needs. This is what the contractors need. So we appreciate this platform. And the second point, Deputy Minister, I just had a discussion with Mr. Butcher Matutle regarding these professional registrations. Some of us have gone for years of unemployment. When you count the entire money required to register with SACPCMP, everything from application, interview, it comes to something like 14,000 rand. Where am I going to get it? Yet now, if I want to be any position within the engineering or promotion space within your department, Deputy Minister, it's compulsory. So I'm sitting at home unemployed. I want to work for public works, but I'm being referred to go to my entity and register professionally to work for me. So I hope something could be done about that one. So I think, yeah, those are my points.
If Simpiwe online is ready, can ask his question. Technical? Thank you. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Please proceed.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I must also welcome and appreciate this platform and hope maybe sort of like a comment and hope that it becomes maybe an annual event that will continue to take place each year so that it builds from the momentum it has from today onwards. I must make a comment first that I think Agrément South Africa did a very good strategy to be introduced in the higher institutions because I first heard about Agrément in my I think it was in my third year as the Build Environment student. I am hoping that also cuts across all the higher learning institutions where Build Environment is being offered, so that at least it becomes known. I'm glad I see this platform. Hence, I'm hoping that it continues to be an annual event that will grow from here. But perhaps not much of a question, but as a comment, seeing the stakeholders that are here, I think a bit of adding to the point that my colleague just finished talking. He touched on something that I thought of, because I see that the heading or the topic of today is building a stronger partnership for sustainable innovation. I think it is indeed a need for Agrément to build a partnership with local municipalities and grow further in being known to institutions. I'm working for a state-owned institution, which is Kuha Development Corporation. We're dealing with specifically SME development in the construction sector. I think all points that are raised with regards to other partners, your CIDB, other partners, I think it's very important that really a coordinated approach in terms of these partners, so that small construction businesses find it a bit easier to develop. My last comment would be to say, if SACPCMP, I don't know if they could consider having, maybe provincial offices. I'm saying this, maybe it's already happening, but in my knowledge, they only have got a centralized office which is based in Gauteng and in the Pretoria or somewhere in Gauteng. But I believe if they could spread a bit, even if they start not necessarily having provincial or non-provinces, but they start having some decentralized offices that also assist in the issue of backlog or in the issue of backlog in the administration, so that from the time you make an application as a candidate, to just an application of first application, it doesn't take time for you to get a reply for acceptance, so that then you can start your portfolio of activities, so that you get to a point of being tested. I think we do need that kind of an approach from them, so that they assist us in terms of of growth. I think let me end it here, Chair. There's a lot of valid points and interesting things about this event. Hence, I wish it could continue and be an event that takes place annually, so that it grows from the momentum it has from today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simpiwe. Honourable Deputy Minister, over to you.
No, thanks, colleagues, and we acknowledge and welcome all questions. I think the first question on sustainable innovation and development, it is a work that we're not going to just speak about here and leave it. We have already started engaging with our entities and relevant departments to look on how we support small and emerging contractors. We would want to have a comprehensive plan, well aligned, which talk to also ensuring that as we go forward, we engage even the Treasury on the implementation of the Public Procurement Bill, or Act rather, so that we'll be able to allow emerging contractors to compete amongst themselves, not to compete with big companies. So we are working on that. Collaboration is key. I think if there are specific issues that you would like to submit on obstacles you face in CIDP or NHBRC, it will be helpful to get just those submissions so that we attend to those issues. I cannot overemphasize the issue of training and skills development. We take that point. We will continue to work with institutions of higher learning to ensure that there is a focused and dedicated skills development and training in the built environment. I think I spoke about collaboration, and I think CPE needs to ensure that all entities under its umbrella work together and support each other. The question of registration of professionals, it is one that we need to continue to address, both in terms of process and in terms of cost. And I think we have started in the 6th administration to discuss it and begin to make plans to ensure that it is much easier to register. The last point, I think Simpiwe is correct. The proposal that this must not be a once-off event, I think I welcome it, and I think we are going to work together with Agrément SA to ensure that it is held at least annually, but not as a platform to talk for the sake of talking, but to also assess the progress we are making on commitments that we have made. Thanks.
Thank you, Honourable DM. I'm aware that there are other questions that colleagues would like to ask who are on virtual platform. Allow us to break for tea. When we return, we'll take more questions in the next segment. On that note, I'd like to thank you once more, Honourable Deputy Minister. Deputy Minister, if you could get your attention. We just want to give you a token of appreciation for spending the better part of the day with us. Thank you so much.
Maybe, ladies and gentlemen, whilst the DM is still here, we're going to excuse him later on because of other engagements. But I think it's important for me, on behalf of Agrément South Africa, DM, and also, ladies and gentlemen, that we emphasize this point. We want to encourage innovation. We want to encourage creators. Bring your products forward to us. Bring your innovation forward to us. Use us as your launching pad for that innovation, for that innovative idea that you have. And what we want to do, amongst others, as Agrément South Africa, is to make sure, especially all departments that have got something to do with the built environment profession in the construction industry, we make sure that your products are marketed accordingly or properly with all of them. And we encourage them, once the product has been certified by Agrément South Africa, that your product can be utilized anywhere within such departments as and when they've got projects. And also in future, they also build into their specifications that these products, amongst others, that are innovative, that have been certified by Agrément, are supposed to be included as part of the specification. So this is not just a talk show. We want to make sure that a lot of creativity from your end comes forward and use Agrément South Africa as a launching pad. Thank you very much.
We will now break for tea. Photos. 15 minutes. It's the only program. 15 minutes.
I'm good. Yeah.